All right, let's just get right into it. Everybody wants to revolutionize their logistics with the latest tech, right? AI, automation, the whole shebang. But there's this huge mistake that most companies make, right at the starting line. It's a mistake that can pretty much doom a project before it even gets off the ground. So today, we're going to talk about that, and more importantly, how you can get it right.
So let me just ask you straight up, do you really know how work gets done in your business? And I'm not talking about the neat and tidy process map you have hanging on the wall. I mean the real deal. The day-to-day reality with all the workarounds, the phone calls, the, hey, can you do me a quick favor moments? Because let's be real, the official story and what actually happens, they're often worlds apart.
And that gap, that space between how leaders think the work is happening and how it actually gets done by the team, well, that's what we call the perception gap. Just look at this. Over on the left, you've got the official process. It's beautiful, right? Clean, linear, totally logical. A job comes in, it flows through the steps, and boom, it's done. Simple. But then, you look at the right. That's the real process. It's this tangled web of emails, spreadsheets, sticky notes, and phone calls. This is where your team is actually living, every single day. And here's the thing you've got to understand. You're not alone in this. Most businesses are running with this exact same gap. The huge problem is, this disconnect, it's the #1 reason why those big, expensive technology investments end up failing. You just can't fix a problem you don't really truly understand.
So how do you close that gap? Well, the solution is actually pretty simple, though I'm not going to say it's always easy. You have to start with the work.
This is it. This is the golden rule. Before you even think about new software or fancy automation or AI, you have to get a completely unfiltered, honest look at how tasks are being done right now, moment by moment. And just to be crystal clear, this is not about updating a flowchart. It's about actually shadowing your team, watching what they do, and mapping the real journey a job takes through your system, with all the messy bits and workarounds included. You can kind of think of it as a 3-step process. You observe the real work, you map all those hidden steps, and then you analyze where the friction is. It's all about observation over assumption. Okay, to really bring this to life, let's follow one single job as it makes its way through a pretty typical logistics operation. Okay, check this out. Step 1, the job comes in. Great. Then, planning and allocation happens. But then, look what's next. Someone has to get on the phone and manually contact drivers. A few hours go by, and what are they doing? Chasing that same driver for an update. Then, oh no, an unexpected problem pops up. How is it handled? A flurry of manual phone calls. And to top it all off, after all that chaos, the same information gets typed into 2, maybe even 3 different systems. Does any of this sound familiar? Now, that journey we just followed isn't just a story. It's actually a diagnostic tool. It shows us exactly where the real problems are hiding. It reveals where the inefficiencies live. Following that one job brings all the hidden friction points to light. You see all the time wasted just chasing down basic information. You see the errors that creep in because people are typing the same data over and over. You see the constant firefighting every time there's a delay. And, maybe most importantly, you see how many big decisions are relying on one person's memory instead of clear, system-wide visibility. All of those little frustrations, those workarounds, those extra manual steps, that is where inefficiency lives. See, it's not usually one big, obvious problem. It's more like death by 1,000 small cuts. And we actually have a name for this. We call it operational friction. It's the buildup of all these small, manual, repetitive tasks that all together create this massive drag on your entire system. It's what slows you down, costs you money, and frankly, burns out your team. But here's the really cool part. Once you've mapped out all that friction, you haven't just found a bunch of problems. You've actually created your real automation blueprint. Because, let's be honest for a second, if you don't understand the real work, what are you going to do? You're just going to automate that clean, simple process from the old flowchart. You'll spend a fortune making a process that nobody actually uses any faster. You'll literally be automating the wrong things. So you have to remember, that messy, complicated map of the real journey, that's not a sign of failure. No way. It's your blueprint for success. It's like a treasure map that points directly to where you can make the biggest possible impact. So instead of guessing where to invest, you suddenly have a targeted plan. You know you need to automate that repetitive data entry. You know you have to create true visibility to stop all the chasing.
You can see the urgent need to streamline how you communicate with drivers, and you can pinpoint exactly which tools will actually empower your team to solve problems faster.
So, now you've got your blueprint, but the work doesn't stop there. Next time, we're going to talk about how you can use this blueprint to start connecting departments and, finally, break down those operational silos that cause so much pain for everyone.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Now that you have the key to seeing the real work, what's that first, small, repetitive, frustrating task you're going to go after? What will you transform first?